Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time joining us, feel free, whether you're watching live or the recording, to type where you're coming from. If you have any comments or questions, you can either type them in the comment box there, or you can direct message me as well. Also, if you have a topic you'd like to hear covered, same thing, you can place it in comments or direct message me with the information on that. First time watching, if you type mindful in comments, then I will put a link in after this recording, of course, that you can follow and get your free hypnotic recording on getting rid of limiting beliefs. And you'll also get our weekly cheat sheet, which is a PDF that comes out every Sunday covering what we talked about the week before. So today we are here to talk about using persuasion, how quick and easy ways to be more persuasive. So what is persuasion actually? Well, persuasion is an act of trying to influence someone to change their beliefs or behaviors, but it's different from coercion because the person receiving the message has a choice about it. So we're not doing anything unethical when we're being persuasive. Persuasion can be implicit or explicit, and it can have both positive and negative effects. And so it can be used to pursue a personal gain, such as in sales, or it can be used in election campaigning is another kind of personal gain. And, sales pitches, like we said, or for your own advocacy, shall we say. And so persuasion is studied in many different disciplines, including rhetoric, psychology, neuroscience, history, even poli-sci. And so today we're going to talk about the 7 main persuasion techniques according to Robert Cialdini, who wrote the book, The Psychology of Persuasion. And so the first one that he talked about is consistency, and this is looking for and asking for small commitments that can be made. This is kind of like in hypnosis, we call this the yes mindset. So once somebody says yes one time, they're more likely to keep on saying yes to you. And then we have reciprocity, which is people really feel obliged to give back to others in the form of a behavior, a gift, or a service that they have received first. So you can think of charities that kind of send out those address stickers. They're asking for reciprocity, basically. They feel that you're more likely to donate to them because they're giving you something. Then we have authority. And so people tend to follow the leader of the lead of someone who is credible and knowledgeable, or wears an authoritative uniform, etc., etc. So an example is people are more likely to give a chance to a complete stranger who is in uniform, for instance. And then we have scarcity. So people want things that they cannot have or that there's less of. Remember the Cabbage Patch dolls? If you're around my age, in the 80s, everybody wanted them. And so you'll see this also in sales. There's only 50 left. So that's kind of giving you that scarcity kind of thing. And then we have liking. So people prefer to say yes to those whom they like or that are similar to them. And since people like similar, then there's these celebrity endorsements kind of things that are a big success, or someone might ask you personal questions and then kind of agree with you, kind of that kind of thing. So to get that rapport, if you will. And then we have social proof, which is when people are uncertain, they tend to look to the actions or behaviors of others. So an example of this was a note in a hotel room that stated 75% of our guests reuse their towels at some point during their stay, and it was meant to conserve energy with washing the towels and all. But that led to more people actually doing what they said. And so then the final one that was added, it wasn't in the original book, is unity. And this is the more we perceive people to be a part of us, as in the same group or community, etc., or category, the more likely we let ourselves be influenced by them. So you can think of a salesperson using we languages, like instead of you are going to love this new car, so this is great for us because we like to drive our kids to school or something with a big so that kind of thing, making it a we. So those were the 7 according to Robert Cialdini, and then there's so many more though, really. A great one that I like is framing, and it's kind of, if you think about the glass half full or the glass half empty, the way we talk about things kind of sets the stage, if you will. And so a classic example of this is, let's say there's 600 fatally ill people, and there's a treatment that works 33% of the time. So you could frame this negatively by saying that 400 people will die using this treatment, or you could state it positively, stating that 200 lives will be saved. So that makes a big difference in, how you take things in. And then there's an anchoring technique. Usually we talk about anchoring in NLP as a positive kind of thing, and I'm not going to say this is negative or positive. It's just different. It's more of a salesy one, but it's based on an anchoring bias. And so let's say you're asking people to taste a wine, okay? And you want them to estimate the cost of the wine. And so with no prior information, people might estimate this bottle to be around $15, okay? But let's say that right before the experiment, you show the group a $100 bottle of wine. You tell them that this bottle of wine is $100, and then they, taste this. So now this $100 bottle is going to serve as a bias. And so then when you do the same kind of research or quiz, if you will, these people are much more likely to estimate that bottle that they're guesstimating at as being higher. So maybe $25 instead of $15. So that's just an interesting one. The foot in the door technique is if you can get people, we kind of talked about it with the Cialdini one, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here. So if you can get people on board with one small thing, saying yes, that yes mindset. And so you can use it kind of like, they give an example here. I'm going to read this one to you because it's interesting. So you might start a conversation with, don't you hate being stuck in traffic? Of course, people are going to say yes. And then wouldn't you rather spend your time being more productive? Yes, of course. And then you could say something like, well, what if there was a product that would allow you to be productive while in traffic? So you've got two yeses and they're like, oh, now they're interested. So there's that. So it's that yes ladder. But we did talk about it with Cialdini's, but the opposite of that is the door in the face one. And so this is where you ask for something so ridiculous that it's ridiculous. So say, oh, I really want to sell this $25 bottle of wine. So I'm going to say, oh, well, don't you want to buy this $100 bottle of wine? And everybody's going to be like, no. And then you bring out, oh, well, there's this $50 bottle of wine. And they're like, no. And then you bring out the $25 bottle of wine. And after all the higher ones, it seems like a great deal. So they're like, okay, we'll buy the $25 one. We talked about positioning as we. Another interesting one, and there was research on this as well in the Cialdini book, is if you want to be persuasive, shall we say, and I believe that the example in the book was somebody wanted to make a photocopy and they wanted to kind of cut in line. And so they were like, they said, excuse me, can I cut in front of you? And of course the person says no. But if you use the word because, and it wasn't even a great reason, it was like, because I'm running late. And it was does it say? It was something like, it was a great percentage of people that actually let the person skip line then because they used the word because. Another neat one is even if. So this one you would kind of have to know what the reservations would be if somebody had some reservations, and you would have to say them before the person stated them. So even if you feel like it's too expensive, because we have this great deal and it's going to save you money in the long run. So it's the even if kind of thing. And another really neat one is the but you are free. And so they call it the BYAF, standing for but you are free. And so what happens is you can obviously you're telling the person that they can stop at any time. You're empowering them. So you don't have to do this, you're free to go, but it would be nice. And it supposedly works really well. So I thought that these were really kind of fun and interesting to talk about. So I hope that's useful to you. Of course, body language is going to be one of your main persuasive, matching and mirroring, kind of being open. And if you wanted someone to agree with you, maybe nodding your head kind of thing. So it can be a lot of fun too. I hope you've all had a great Mindful Monday, and see you soon. Bye.